Hey, Al, I got us a treat.
Oh, Freddie, is this what I think it is?
Yes, it is the brand new Grogu Nog. And I'm not exactly sure what it's made of, but somehow you got to keep a baby alive.
This dust on top smells like nutmeg. Let me give this a taste.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Yeah, do you like it?
This is my favorite thing I've ever gotten. Oh my gosh. I do have to say though, one of the things, like it's one of those where I've got mixed emotions about this Gronog. Because
why?
Well, it's delicious. It's creamy, it's frothy, it's nutmeggy, but it also reminds me of home. And I miss home.
It has been a long time that we've been here on the real Batu. And
I've lost track of how long we've even been here.
We came on a mission put to us, kind of forced on us. We've been here studying to see what the Imagineers, how they came here to study the real Batu so that they could recreate it back home on Earth at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And they've done such a good job at recreating it, but here we are at the holidays again, and we're getting to enjoy these Batu traditions in a way that I just never imagined that our lives would take this turn.
I completely agree. I think the thing that makes me so sad, though, is, don't get me wrong, it's been awesome being here on Batu. But, one, I feel like we're never going to leave this planet because we're not meeting the people that we need to in order to get back home. But, two, it just hit me like a ton of Mandalorian Beskar that this is the first year that we haven't spent Christmas in a Disney park with our backside of water friends. And that's actually kind of shocking to me.
Yeah. It is hard to be away from our listeners, our friends, our collaborators. It's hard to be away, and mostly our families, but to be here in a galaxy far, far away and not be able to connect with our audience is really sad. I miss them.
I wish that there was a way for us to be able to, I don't know, at least connect with people. It feels kind of lonely.
Yeah, well, we can record an episode, and maybe there's a way to get a transmission out. Let's just record an episode and just talk directly to the fans.
That's actually a really heartwarming idea, Freddie.
It'll make me feel better.
Oh, it'll make me feel so much better. Cheers to that, my friend. Delicious Gronog. All right. Well, I got a little pep in my step. Let me go ahead and put the this little transmitter together. All right. And it looks like this.
You got to put slot A into slot B.
Oh, that's why it wasn't working. Okay. There we go. Okay. We're set up, and we will record in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Backside of Water, a podcast where we delve into the rich history, awesome stories, and fascinating details behind your favorite Disney attractions. I'm Alex Stewart.
And I'm Freddie Martin.
And we are joining you once again from the marketplace of Batu on a really melancholy holiday season, but we're going to make the best of it on this episode. I think that, Freddie, it's a great idea on this episode to do something that we've never done with a backside of water holiday episode before, and that's to not do a radio drama and instead do something that is completely different than what we're used to, which is to go totally off of the script and to just chat as buddies. And I think that we should probably talk about, first and foremost, the things that we're most thankful for around this podcast. I also think, Freddie, it would be great for us to maybe talk about some things like we're looking forward to in the new year. What do you think about that?
Oh man, that's exactly right. I mean, at the end of the year, you always want to look back and think about the things that were really good for you. The things with the connections you had with people, the late nights and the long worry, and then when that broke through, the sun broke through, and you suddenly had a new lease on life. And those are the things that we can be thankful for. And to do that here with our podcast, with the Backside of Water podcast, and with our great listeners who are so awesome, and really just share with them what it is that drives us to continue doing this.
I love that. So kind of like things we're thankful for, and then a vision cast for this new year. And on top of that, I think it would be really good for us to address kind of the future of the show. Because realistically, let's be honest, once we get back from Batu, Freddie, we have Main Street USA culminating in the Disneyland Railroad, and we are done with the history of Disneyland.
No way.
It's a little bit shocking to think about. And I think that we don't want to get our cart ahead of the horse on this. But I would love for us to kind of maybe wrap up the episode at the end talking about what maybe a potential future looks like on the show.
Yeah,
so with
that's great. That's great. Let's do it. I have a question. I mean, before you transition, I have a question. Al, I wasn't on the program early on. You and your buddy Harrison Omby started this. How long has it been? I mean, I came in somewhere in Fantasyland, and you'd already done Adventureland, Frontierland, Critter Country as it was once known, and then suddenly I showed up on the scene. But how long were you doing this program? How old is the show?
Freddie, that's a great question. I believe your first episode with us was It's a Small World, wasn't it? Was that when you burst on the scene?
Yeah, I mean, we did an Adventureland Day, a radio drama, and that's where I showed up as a new character. But yeah, that's right.
You officially came on board as like a full-time host of the show, I think, with It's a Small World. But that is a great question. So this is the crazy thing. As we record this, it's December of 2025. We actually have celebrated the 10th anniversary of the Backside of Water as of June 2015. So we have been doing this show for a little over 10 years
10
now.
10 years. A lot of people, there's big things to celebrate at 10 years. When Disneyland turned 10 years old, they had a big 10-centennial at Disneyland, a 10-centennial episode on Walt Disney Presents Disneyland on Sunday evenings on ABC, and he introduced the Pirates of the Caribbean on that one.
Oh, shoot, Freddie, we've got a lot of pressure now.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, the 10th anniversary episode. I mean, should we put that on the headline of this? But that's what we're doing. We're celebrating 10 years.
That is very true. And I mean, I think that I never ever once thought that when we first started this show that we would, one, meet the people that we would meet along the way. Two, I never thought that we would be able to create friendships with people that lived across the country from us. Three, I never thought that we would be able to experience 1/10 of the things that we experienced as a result of this show. But here we are 10 years later with a bunch of new friends, a bunch of fantastic creative opportunities, and some really fantastic experiences under our belt as a result.
What did you think you would do if you started a podcast? I mean, podcasts they weren't young, but you got in right when the whole Disney podcast thing was way early.
It is actually kind of funny because if I'm being totally honest, I have never been a 5-year visioner in my life. When people are like, "What's your 5-year plan?" I'm like, "Brother, I don't have a 30-second plan. I just do." And that sometimes works out, but mostly it backfires on me. And to be honest, I had no idea what this... Freddie, the reason why I started a podcast with Harrison back in the day was a pretty simple reason that my wife had just given birth to our son, who is now almost 11, and I had gobs of time. And I was like, what am I going to do? I mean, we're in the house at like 6 o'clock every night. What can I do with my extra time? And I thought, okay, well, I've been listening to podcasts. And to be honest, the Nerdist podcast back in the day was one of the biggest things that I listened to. It doesn't exist anymore. But when I was listening to that show, I was like, podcasting's amazing.
Yeah,
and so
I was the same way.
Yeah, and I was like, there's something. I was on a track also to go kind of into the film production world, and there was so much red tape. There were so many meetings. There were so many flights out to Los Angeles to try to break into this world and to pitch and to do all this stuff. And it was daunting. And for me, one of the things that was really hard about it was the lack of immediacy. And that's where podcasting came in, where I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect that we can just record this and put it out the next day. It was like magic to me. And so that was the origins. And another thing that I wanted to do, and we talked about this during the live episode, is I wanted to find a way to just hang out with a bud. And Harrison was that bud, and we were able to talk Disney together, even though we lived in different cities. It gave us an excuse, a reason, a purpose to be able to have time to hang on the calendar. And so those are the reasons. I mean, to be honest, Freddie, I never, if I'm being totally truthful, I thought this podcast would have been wrapped by about 5 years ago, because I had these high and mighty ideas that we were going to be able to release an episode on a very regular schedule. Nothing was going to go crazy. Nothing was going to go wild. It was going to go perfectly as planned. And here we are almost 11 years later.
Wow. Yeah. I think there are some parents and fathers screaming at their pod bean machines at the moment when they hear you say, I just had a new baby and I had a ton of time on my hands.
Well,
I don't think that's everybody's experience, but it happened to be yours.
Well, okay, fair enough. What I would say is, if people know Alex Stewart and his entire family, we don't sit still. We just do. We just go. And when Ashley and I, my wife, first got married, we were very active. We were very busy. And so having a lot of nap times, having a lot of sleep at night and stuff like that, where babies are sleeping for 20 hours a day.
Okay, again, there are parents out there screaming at their iPods saying, ow. You had kids that slept 20 hours?
They were supposed to be sleeping 20 hours a day. That was the goal. Was that achieved? No, not necessarily. But it did give plenty of space and time for us to be able to kind of set the roots of this podcast into place.
Oh, yeah.
And since then, it's grown like crazy.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think that it's actually, Freddie, you talked about this offline. I think it's really good for us to kind of talk about some stats, some year-end stats.
Yeah, I got, it's funny. In the past 10 years, too, for me, I've really gotten into the tiki culture and listening to tiki music. And I got my iTunes year-end report for 2025 this year. And on it, it said that Martin Denny, who is kind of like the tiki exotica,
the
Ultimo from way back when, I'm in his top 50 listeners. And I was so jazzed about that. I was like, do I get tiki cred here for
you have to. You do it from me. You do. That is for darn sure.
Yeah, I listen to that dude a lot. Apparently,
that's amazing. Listen, and speaking of Freddie, I'm such a nincompoop here. I didn't even think about asking you, Freddie. What inspired you to come on board with the Backside of Water in the first place?
Well, I think it depends on the way you spell bored. I was BORED.
By the content you were hearing.
I honestly, I really enjoyed the backside of water. I really enjoyed listening to you and Harrison, and your banter, and hearing you say, we got to do a mega cut when we do wrap this whole Disneyland tour up. We got to do a mega cut of you saying, I digress. I digress. I digress. And I was listening to you, and that was a common phrase back then. And I was really enjoying that program. I was also really enjoying the Tales of the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, what's the dude's name? Radio, WDW Radio.
Oh, yes.
I was also listening to a bunch of business podcasts and was just really enjoying it and kind of realizing that I had something I wanted to say. But then in the little in-between times, as I'm listening to yours, I started texting or messaging you on Instagram saying, hey, I don't know if you've seen this show, but there's this show. It says, actually... I was saying, your facts are close, but I would like send you some notes of like, well, here's some additional information about what you were sharing on the program, and we struck up a friendship. But I just there was something about having worked there and taken in all of the sort of the Kool-Aid, drank the Kool-Aid, the Disney Kool-Aid, understood the background, understood what it meant to walk backstage and smell the garbage cans, like how strong those were.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like there's a deeper experience of Disneyland when you work there. And you can certainly get burnt out as a cast member, but I really kind of came away with that, with this great nostalgia for the place and a desire to kind of tell the stories and tell the history that I think we just kind of immediately hit it off with a shared love of that, but also a shared interest in finding out the truth about how these attractions were all thought of and built, and the ideas behind them, and that, you know, it was really thrilling to me that you asked me to come on board. I just can't believe it. It was such an honor.
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Freddie, but I remember the first phone conversation that you and I had. I remember we were talking because you had originally decided that you were going to do the SEA, like kind of expose, and you're going to do that over on freddiemartin.net originally. And we had been like, you know, like you said, we struck up conversation on Instagram and it just kind of chatted about that stuff. And I was just fresh as the new fallen snow when it came to knowing anything about the SEA, and I was just ready to feast. And I remember having a conversation with you because we were going to talk about it, I believe, on the show. And to be honest, it was over that conversation that we had where the SEA saga came to life, that I remember us kind of first fleshing it out. And we originally, it was just going to be kind of like there's this point. And then we started thinking that we should turn this into a radio drama. This would be really fun from a creative standpoint, but also a great way to deliver this content. And I specifically remember we had like a 90-minute conversation in the middle of the day. Yeah. And I remember getting off of that call just being so insanely amped, being like, I have found a kindred spirit. And I was so stoked that you reached out because of that.
Well, and I think part of that was the thing about the Society of Explorers and Adventurers that's so interesting is there's just little details that tell a story without being on the nose. And that's all throughout Disney parks. Mm-hmm. But here was an opportunity where it wasn't based on the Star Wars IP or a Marvel IP or something that had already been written. It was new, so it encouraged digging deeper. Mm-hmm. You know, oftentimes in any experience design or or branding stuff. You know, they talk about waders, people who wade into the information, the swimmers, and then the deep divers. And we wanted to be deep divers, and we wanted to share that with other people.
Well, and I think to further that metaphor, it's really exciting when you meet another deep diver who is so stoked to watch your oxygen tank as you guys go down together that you're like, I got you, you got me, let's do this together. Freddie, I just cannot say enough how grateful I am for the blessing that you made that first contact on Instagram. Because, dude, you are such a good friend. There's no question about it. I hope that you know that. I hope that you know what a good friend you are.
Gosh, thanks. Well, you know, it's so funny. I got to one of my favorite. Oh gosh, we got to save this for a retrospective, maybe after we complete Main Street. But you know, there's so many experiences of writing and performing on this podcast that I'll never forget. And I'll save that for a retrospective.
Okay, fair enough. Because there are a lot of listeners. If you think that the fun that we have on this show is canned or it's manufactured, we have a blast doing this. We have so much fun digging in and exploring and just nerding out. And it's amazing to see how we have been able to grow such a healthy and friendly community of fellow nerds like us. And that's something that I am so grateful for.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of digressions, we totally just digressed there. But it was important. It was important.
Yeah. We met some great people along the way.
Because I do want us to jump into that, but I also, before we get on to that, I would love to share some stats because these things blew my mind. When I got those, do you mind if I share some amazing facts? Did you know that the common house cat?
Did you know Disney?
Oh, R.I.P. R.I.P. That's another thing we should talk about during the retrospective is all of our other attempts at podcastery. But let's see here. I just got our Spotify Wrapped, which listener, a Spotify Wrapped also gets created for creators. So if you get one at the end of the year, or if you're an Apple Music person like Freddie, it will wrap it up and kind of show you all of like your most listened to, all that kind of stuff. Well, I got it for the backside of water, and I was humbled, to say the least, by the numbers that we got. And I hope that it doesn't come off as us being boastful or bragging in any way with this. There are shows that are so much larger than us, that have such larger reach, etc. And so we don't ever want to prop ourselves up to try to make us sound like we're anything more than just two humble dads with a desire for Disney. But having said that,
that sounds like a new podcast we could have. Desire for Disney. Maybe not.
That could
maybe
be
not.
a little iffy. It would
weird.
Probably get a lot of listeners on the first episode out of curiosity,
yeah, that's right.
and then tank. But with this, we saw that in 2025 alone, just on Spotify. So Spotify is a chunk, but it's not the biggest chunk of our listeners. It's a decent sized chunk. We got 607,000 minutes listened on our show in 2025, which equals out to 10,000 hours. Which is what people say it takes to become an expert in something. So if one person were to listen to our show, after that 10,000 hours, they would have become a true expert on Disney. That's 422 days of listening.
Oh my gosh.
60 weeks of listening. 13 months of listening time on our show.
Yeah, wow.
We'd
like to thank that one listener for playing
for falling
it over
asleep.
and over
Using
and
it as
over
white
again.
noise.
Yeah, it's white noise.
And there were just some other things that I wanted to point out on this Wrapped that were really, really cool. One of the things that really stood out to me, one of the things that it shows is in the comments, it shows the emoji that was used the most. And this is something that I think we can both wear as a badge of courage or a badge of honor, Freddie, is the laughing until crying emoji was the emoji that was used most for this show.
That's great.
That just speaks to my heart.
I mean, we're not stand-up comedians. We don't stand in a room and hear people applauding, or we're not musicians on a stage, so we don't hear the laughs or the claps. So in many ways, the emoji is the equivalent of. So it's good to know that people are laughing at our show.
It is
are
very
laughing
true.
To our show. Don't laugh at us.
Well, I mean, at this point, Freddie, I'm going to take any laugh that I can get. Did you know that we were listened to in 64 countries across the world?
Wow. How many countries are there? There's like 150, 155, something like that.
Something like that. So, I mean, this is another thing that was, again, very humbling, that on Spotify alone, that we're a top 10 show for 1,000 people out there. 1,000 people who gave the majority of their podcast listening time to us. And I'm so thankful for that. Like, just so thankful for that. And
let's get them all in a room and we'll sing songs
and have a cocktail party or something, a mocktail party. There was, so again, like I said, I don't say any of that to try to make us sound like, oh, we're awesome, we're so cool. We don't want to ever make it sound like we're better than other podcasts or anything along those lines. We are just absolutely, how do I say this? I keep saying the word humbled, but not like humbled in a positive way.
Oh, yeah. No, it makes you understand the, you want to be of value in people's lives. In anything you do, you want to be of value. And this is, and you never really know. So it's nice to see that the in the statistics that you're finding out that you are impacting people and they're appreciating the stuff. So that is humbling. It doesn't build you up so much as it helps you just kind of recognize, wow, I'm part of people's lives. They're part of mine. And that is really good.
Yeah. Well said, Freddie. Well said, Fred. I love that. Which is funny because I think that's the first time I've ever called you Fred.
Well, yeah, you're welcome. Nah, I don't know. Maybe you have. I never call you Alberta.
That's true. Nobody calls me by my full name like that, unless it's the judge. Freddie, you wanted to ask a question, and I think this is a really important question to ask people, and it's something that we've never done in the past. So I want to give you some space to be able to do that. Ask your really important question.
What is the meaning of life? Well, actually, I just want to put it out to our listeners. What's the best way to get a hold of us? On Instagram? Is that usually the best way to get a hold of us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So probably Instagram. You can also do Facebook. So just search The Backside of Water either way and direct messages that way. You can also send an email to thebacksideofwaterpodcast@gmail.com. I'll repeat that again. It's thebacksideofwaterpodcast@gmail.com. And answer this question or these questions.
Answer this question. This set of questions. How did you backside in 2025?
Which is a weird phrase.
It is. But what I'm getting at is, in 2025, did you listen to the 1 or 2 episodes that we released?
I think this is our second episode.
It's been a busy year. I mean, we did have that little mini episode where we invited people to meet me at Adventureland.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. So, but did you just listen to the 1 or 2 episodes that we had this year? Or are you a brand new listener and you listen to all of the catalog all this year? Because you're going to make up a big chunk of that 607,000 minutes. or maybe did you catch up this year? Or maybe you started listening and you only took in just the 1 or 2 episodes, maybe one from 2024, and you haven't gone back and listened. How did you backside in 2025? Like what was your experience with us? Was it a lot? Was it just a little? Have you been just banging on your iPod saying, when are they going to release another episode? I'm making fun of iPods because that's the reason that it's called a podcast, but now we've
lost that in YouTube. Translation.
Yeah, it's no more iPods. But yeah, how did you interact with us this year? How did you listen? When did you listen? Gosh, and if you're listening on some real weird podcasting network that's not Spotify or Apple Music, tell us about that. We just want to know, and send us a message. Tell us your story. Tell us how you got into us. I just super curious where 607,000 minutes of listening actually happened.
Yeah,
and we, gosh, we don't even know some of your names. We're just you know us, but we've never met you.
And I would love to, and that's something that I want to talk about in the future on this episode, is the fact that we have been able to meet listeners and how awesome that is. I will say that when you reach out to message us, we write you back. We don't just take those messages and say, let's prop these up like the gold under my dragon belly, like Smaug or something like that. We respond back. I love seeing people send that stuff in. So reach out on Instagram, reach out on Facebook. Facebook's hard because Messenger, I think, has a vendetta against me, and I just don't know how to make sense of it. But reach out on our email, the backside of water podcast@gmail.com, and let us know, how did you find us? And Freddie, I don't know if you've talked to people much about this, but I've had people message me. I had a person message me a few months ago and say, I'm on my 6th listen through on the show.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
That they have listened through the show 6 full times. And I felt bad for them. I was like, no one should have to listen to our voice that often. But it's incredible.
You know what? It's kind of like going back to I've watched Seinfeld episodes and Office episodes and gone back and watched shows over and over again because there's something wonderful and nostalgic about it, and I love the characters, and so I can kind of get it. But when it's just
when it's us,
two jerks and 2 microphones, that it's hard to believe. I guess that goes back to the humbling thing.
Yeah.
And like during COVID, I had several people reach out to me directly who were going through a lot of stuff. Mental health issues, family trauma that they were going through. And it was like, wait a minute, we're a goofy Disneyland podcast and people were reaching out, and I was able take on almost a pastoral role. Let's or mentoring, just caring for people in a real way. And to me, that's even far bigger than 600,000 minutes of listening.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Yes, it's that quality that you get, and that is something that we are just, listener, I hope that everybody out there knows that we are so honored to be in that place. I never, ever in a million years thought that we would be comfort food for people. I never did. That was not one of the goals that we set out for on this podcast. But to know that we are that thing that brings people comfort, that almost makes me emotional in some ways.
Yeah. I would say that I am a chicken and broccoli casserole as far as comfort food. I would guess, you can write to us as well and tell us which comfort food Alex is and which comfort food I am.
What would you say I was, Freddie? Like if you were to label me, and then I want to label you.
Yeah, no. It's really easy. Your matzo ball soup.
What does that even like explain?
Oh wow, it's just
I've never had it. I've never had
rich.
matzo ball soup.
You're salty, you're sticky, you're filled with goodness, and you just And when the plate of Alex is brought to you, and you see those matzo balls in there, you're just like, yes, this is going to be an experience.
Oh, I'm going to accept it. I need to get matzo ball soup because I've never had it before.
It's a comfort food. Yeah. Get some matzo balls.
You know what I would say that you are, Freddie?
Oh, boy.
I would say that you are like the ultimo platter. I don't remember what it's called. It's like grandpa's or grandma's platter at the Cracker Barrel. You know, it's got a little bit of everything on it. It's all the stuff that you want. Like
I'm creamed corn.
You're creamed corn. You get the biscuits, you get the gravy, you get pancakes, you get all of the things that are a very nutritious meal for you. So it's not just carbs, but you're also getting your proteins. You also get the entirety of the menu, essentially. You get everything on one plate. And that's what you get with you, Freddie.
Yeah, thank you very much. Do you get to play with that little triangle game with the golf?
The pegs, yeah. The peg game. I'm always labeled a dunce on that game, which I take issue, Cracker Barrel.
If I don't get genius, I just knock it off the table.
I just think, I refuse to accept its existence. I'm like, no, you're dead to me. If I could hope to be a comfort food for somebody, talk about the ultimate tangent right now. If I could be the ultimate comfort food for somebody, I would want to be labeled as a chicken pot pie.
Yeah, chicken pot pie is good. Chicken pot pie, chicken casserole, matzo ball soup, they're all the same thing, but it's kind of like Mexican food. All the same ingredients are in those things.
They just all kind of,
they also,
they're put together differently.
In different forms.
Yeah, I like that. Freddie, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about was the kind of what the gifts that this show has given us. And the gifts that we hope that it has given other people. And I just want to take a few minutes to do this. And I first want to start by talking about something that I am so immensely grateful for with the Backside of Water is the ability that it has provided me. And I mean, I hope that I speak for everybody who's part of this show. But from my perspective, the ability for a creative outlet. I only survive off of creativity. And if I'm not able to create, I feel like I'm not using the gifts that I have been imbibed with at the creation of me. And that is why this show is such a gift, because it provides an endless source of creative opportunity.
Yeah, it is. And there's something in all of us that just thrives on being able to do something special. It might just be, like, it's fun to have social media and be able to see all the different talents that some people have. Like, I saw the other day a woman who could tie a shoe. I've never seen anybody tie a shoe so fast. She just had this little, like, finger flick. Kind of like you've seen, I don't know if you've seen how the Japanese wrap presents. I saw a little meme of, we've been wasting, Americans have been wasting time wrapping gifts. The countless hours, I'm sure it's 607,000 hours of wrapping that it's done, because we don't know how to wrap. And to see somebody in Japan, the way they wrap a gift, it's a two-hand moment. One piece of tape, flip, And it's like, how did we not learn this a long time ago? So anyway, everybody has a talent out there or some different thing that they have. And to be able to use that one little bit of creativity, well, here we are. We love to write. We love to imagine. We love to make stuff up. We love to just sit there and laugh about the oddity that we made up. I was telling you before that I wrote a song for my brother for Christmas. Like, who writes a song for their brother for Christmas?
Freddie Martin, that's who.
But the creative opportunities that we have here to kind of think back to our Disneyland experience, research and read and learn more about where these ideas and these experiences came from, to learn about the different people who were involved in our favorite attractions, and that and then put it into a form that people are interested in is really exciting.
Oh, no doubt. I think that it's really interesting because you bring up a really fascinating point that I actually talked to. I used to teach a class, a language arts class for mostly high schoolers. And one of the things that that I put them through was a life thesis statement. And there's 1,000 different packages of this. And I discovered...
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Freddie?
What's a thesis?
A thesis?
Yes. What's a thesis?
A thesis... Sorry, I totally broke character. The thesis is the methods of the entire essay. So it was totally, and that's the thing that I tell everybody is, so a thesis, you bring up a great question, Freddie. What is a thesis? It's the one sentence that defines and encapsulates everything that a paper is going to be written about. And it's a powerful sentence. So powerful because it guides everything. And so when I was in my 20s, I started down this journey of exploration of being like, everything in my life has to have some sort of connection to it. Like everything that I enjoy has to be some sort of interconnection. And so I created this concept of the life thesis, being an English nerd the way I was and majoring in English. I was like, I came up with a thesis. And it was one sentence that guides the entirety of my life. And it has shifted and changed, and it's evolving over time, but my sentence, and I don't know if I've shared this on the show, I probably have, so this is a broken record to people, but the sentence that I came up with for myself is that I was created to ignite passion, creativity, and inspiration in others through the use of my gifts and talents. And as long as I'm making decisions and making choices that are based off of and are filtered through that thesis statement, I will feel as though that decision is providing me purpose that is on like a God-given level of fulfillment. And here's why I bring this up is listener, the backside of water. So full circle here. The backside of water provides that for me. The backside of water is something that I have been able to thankfully in hopefully inspire others to ignite that creativity, to ignite that interest in a topic. And that's why I think that it's given me so much fulfillment is because it hits on all those pieces that are the puzzle pieces that make my inner workings complete. And what I come full circle on with this is, listener, I hope that you are able to find that. I hope that you are able to find that thing inside of you that brings you this much fulfillment that this show has provided for me, and I'm hoping for Freddie in that way.
That's awesome. Yeah, to recognize that you've got a talent, you've got a purpose, and then to actually get to do that is pretty thrilling.
It is rarefied air, to say the least. And friends, I hope, and I know you can find it out there, and I hope that you just follow it. Because there will be ultimate fulfillment there. There's no question in my mind. And one of the things that you get as a benefit from doing those things is companionship. You find your Samwise Gamgee. You find your you find your group of dwarves that you can adventure with, and that is something that has.
You find your short round to.
You find your Pluto
elephants with you.
You find your Goofy. You find your Roy. You find your Ub. In that way. And that is something that I would love for us to talk about as well, Freddie, is the people that we've met along this journey. Because we have met some amazing people. And this obviously can't be an exhaustive list, because that exhaustive list would go on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But Freddie, let's talk about some of the great people that we've met along the journey here.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of my favorite things to do every year is to go to Adventureland Day.
Yeah.
And at Adventureland Day, if you don't know, first Sunday in March, it's an amazing day put together by this incredible tiki artist named Tiki Tony.
And a great
all
dude.
Of his all of his friends, and all of those friends have become friends. But then for some reason, there's this great crossover between the Backside of Water and Adventureland Day people.
Yes.
And so we get to meet a ton of our listeners at Adventureland Day. And so those opportunities have become really, and I don't know about you, but I've been invited on different podcasts because of Backside of Water.
Yeah.
And those podcasts have led to other things, led to new opportunities and new fan bases, probably new listeners to Backside of Water. And so, that's where I would start, is with Adventureland Day, and then the waterfall effect of all of the people we get to meet through there. I mean, I know that through Backside of Water and, having a fellow Jungle Cruise skipper background with people like Trevor Kelly and Dave Marley and so many so many different folks in the Jungle Cruise Adventureland world is really, really fun for me.
And we'll talk about this in our experiences conversation, that we were able to. Trevor graciously opened his backyard for our first live taping.
Yeah,
and
it was awesome.
Oh, the memories that we had.
We can't forget to mention Jessica Kelly, his wife, and they are the such hosts with the mosts, and creatives and artists and singers. They're awesome. So
they're fantastic. And so, I mean, again, do yourselves a favor and follow these people on social media. You may not even know them, but once you follow them, you will get to know them better, and they will become some of your best online friends. One of those people I want to call out specifically is Dave Nelms. Dave, within the first, I think before we even started the podcast, Dave reached out and was just sharing his just infectious love for Tiki and Disney. And we just met online. I don't even know how I ended up following Dave on Instagram, but we just became internet buds as well. This is the thing that's hard, is I'm so fortunate, so blessed to be able to have all these great experiences online, that when people are like, the internet is a cesspool, I'm like, well, there's a lot of the internet I found is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Dave Nelms is... he goes by Tiki Chippy.
Yes.
And if you're real interested in the Tiki culture and even the history, he's the resident historian. Mm-hmm. He's a former CHP, I think. And he's just a cool guy who really loves the Tiki culture, loves the Disney stuff.
Dave is also kind of like and this is said in a positive way, he's almost like a service animal in some ways. Like, being around him, just being in his presence, you're like, oh, I'm operating at a more peaceful frequency.
Yeah.
He's just such a chill dude.
Wow. Al, which service animal are you?
I am a pony. I am a service pony. I'm short. I've got little hooves, and I tend to draw unwanted attention whenever I go into a room.
I'm I am an emotional support budgie.
Oh, wait, is that like a little? Is that
Yeah,
a marsupial?
parakeet. No, it's a parakeet.
Oh, a little budgie. Oh, yes, I put some budgies at a mall once. I could see that.
Yeah.
You make a lot of noise, like one, like a little. You make a lot of happy chirps.
Hey now,
You're an all-star. Sorry. Oh man, yes. And another group that I want to shout out, like Freddie said earlier, was a group of podcasters named Kin and Lynn, who are the host of the Sweep Spot podcast. They were the first podcast to actually reach out to us and be like, "Hey, we want to hear from you." And we were like, "Wait, really? You want to hear from us, idiots?" And through that, we've just become friends. It has been a really good experience getting to know Lynn Barron and Ken Pellman. They're both really great dudes who, man, talk about the godfathers of Disney podcasting. Those guys have
they've been around a while.
Oh, they've been around forever. And our hope is, as we take our journey down Main Street, that we can get some of these people on the show. I would love to be able to get some of these folks on, to be able to chat with them, to be able to kind of dig back in and just have everybody get to know these people because they are so cool. And one of those other people that we met through this is, I met this guy through Freddie, and he's a swell guy. Dennis Emsley is a peach. Dennis, if you're listening to this, you're a peach. Dennis, Freddie, how do you know Dennis?
Oh my goodness! Well, we go way back. We were one day. Okay, so our wives were working together at the same firm, and
that's the mattress firm, right?
No. No, they were working for a insurance claims company together, and they became fast friends. My wife Sharif and his wife Andrea became fast friends, but they started talking about their nerdy husbands to one another, and they started to find out, wait, your husband is into the band U2? My husband's into the band U2. Wait, your husband is into tiki shirts? My husband's into tiki shirts. And then the ultimate was, your husband really likes Disneyland? My husband really likes Disneyland. And so they set up a double date for a blind date for Dennis and me to meet each other at Disneyland.
Oh, a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and it was at a pass holder, which is what we were called in the old days. It was a pass holder event for the premiere of Light Magic, which was the first night parade to replace the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Uh-huh.
It was a total flop, by the way.
Wow.
And he and I just immediately struck. we really hit it off and went to a U2 concert, I think, that same year. And then anyway, once we had sons, we raised our sons together, and those two boys are still best friends. So yeah, Dennis and I, we go way back.
It's, again, to know Dennis is to love Dennis. I think the first time that I met Dennis in person was at Adventureland Day. And
possibly. Yeah, right.
Well, and listener, I want you to have some visualizations. Freddie's a tall man. Dennis is a tall man. Freddie, how tall are you? What is your height?
I'm 6'3".
6'3".
I was 6'3" my entire life until my mother-in-law decided to measure me, and then I was 6'2.5", and I've never really recovered from that.
Do you want to talk about that?
No, I'm all right.
Okay, fair. You've come to grips with it. Yeah. Dennis is Dennis your height or a little taller?
No, he says he's 6'4", but man, that guy walks into a room. He's not 1.5 inches taller than me. He's like 4 inches taller than me. He's a really tall guy.
He's a big man. Yeah. Listener, I'm 5'6". I know that shocks a lot of people out there.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But when I stand by Freddie and Dennis, I look like an 11-year-old.
Dennis, when Alex and Dennis are walking down the street, they look like C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah, there's definite...
Dennis has his hand atop...
on my head.
His head, and yes.
We are going to be friends, that is for sure. But and we'll talk about this as we go on, but... Dennis and Freddie and I had the opportunity to go to Marceline together, which is Walt Disney's hometown together.
In Missouri.
Yeah, and that was a highlight, Freddie. That was such a great trip. That was so much fun.
We should do an episode all about the Marceline trip.
We should, and I've got like 45 minutes worth of video footage that I just have to find some time
honestly
to put that out.
Yeah, and when we do episodes about Main Street USA, we can talk about that in a little bit. But when we do Main Street USA, we need to do an entire Marceline.
We need to have Dennis. That's the perfect episode for Dennis to join us.
Dennis?
Oh my gosh! Another person that I met, Penny Martin.
Oh, my little girl.
I believe that Penny was actually the first person to interact with the backside of water before you, wasn't she?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I was if she was, then I wasn't there.
I feel like that's what Penny told me, is that Penny started following us on Instagram, and then she introduced you to us. That could be a lie.
My daughter is a trendsetter and a trend follower, and she's introduced me to so many different things. I'm sure she introduced me to BSOW.
Oh, and Penny, if you're listening to this, we just, not only because you're Freddie's daughter, but because you're you are such a friend to this show and a friend to us. And we are so thankful for everything that you do and the friendship that you provide. We just hung out in November together at an event down in Orlando. And whenever I hang out with you and Penny, it's just like old friends coming together and no time has passed. And that's a great feeling.
Oh, yes, it is.
You know who else is a great person is Heather Rad.
Oh, my goodness. At Hojo? Yes. She's awesome.
Listeners, do yourselves a favor. First, follow the Howard Johnson Anaheim on social media and follow Heather Rad. Heather is, I don't even know what her title is there. I think she's like the director of sales or director of marketing or something like that.
Yeah, and she's one of these people that understands exactly what asset that her company has. They are the coolest hotel next door to Disneyland. Mm-hmm. And they're a partner hotel, good neighbor hotel, whatever they're called. But that is such a cool retro hotel that's been made into. It's really an extension of Tomorrowland because you can see it from inside Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it looks like it belongs in Tomorrowland. The buildings there, but she knows exactly what she has in that company, what she has to offer, and she knows that Disneyland fans love the retro future that is the Hojo Anaheim.
Yeah.
And she knows how to tell that story, and she does such a good job.
Yep.
And she's been super friendly with the show, helping us out with all kinds of things. We had an event there in their Tomorrowland House of the Future suite. I mean, awesome. I just love her. She's hilarious, too. She's really funny.
And I think the thing that's so awesome about this, too, and again, there's probably people who are like, why are you talking about these random people? Y'all, they shouldn't be random in your lives. You should be following these people on social media because they will provide you a net positive in your lives by just being on your feeds. All these people are great people. Another person I think of that we don't even have on our unofficial list here is Lindsay Wells. She is actually now... So Lindsay was originally just like a content creator, and she was all about... she was a boy mom, and she did a bunch of stuff at Disneyland. And... I don't know I don't know how we got connected together. It was all through social media, but she's awesome. And now she is... Freddie, she is the CEO of Concierge now.
Wow.
She runs the whole show. Listener, if you don't know what Concierge is, they are the best travel agency. And guess what? Lynn Barron of The Sweet Spot is also a travel agent with concierge, and Lindsay just helped me plan my Walt Disney World trip. She's awesome. Concierge is incredible. They are, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of great travel agencies out there, but concierge, I've just only had nothing but positive experiences with. So again, they're not paying us to say this. They didn't even ask us to do this.
No. That's so funny. It almost sounds like commercials
for all these people.
The truth is just like when your heart is full of gratitude, you can't help but bring up the people who you've been around. I mean, yeah, there is no. We're not a paid sponsor.
No.
Of any of these people.
We're not making money to plug it. We're not,
and we are wondering why. We're wondering why we're not making money off this.
I'm actually gonna reach out to Dennis and ask why he hasn't paid us to talk about him.
About him, yeah. Dennis, get on the stick, man.
Hey, what gives, buddy? But again, another person, Freddie. This one's really interesting that I want you to talk about the odd connection that you made with somebody seemingly random, that this person didn't even know of us before Adventureland Day. They jumped onto our scavenger hunt with us, and a fast friendship was forged as a result, right?
Yeah, that's right. You talking about Kyle Milligan?
Yes.
Yeah, Coconut Kai, as he calls himself. And you did describe him as odd, or no, you said odd, and you said strange, or something like that as you were kind of bringing it up. But this is one of my favorite people that I've met through all of this, because this guy has a train of thought that goes so much faster and farther than you and me.
Yes.
And he will say some reference that in 15 minutes I'll go, oh my goodness, that was the perfect reference. Oh my goodness. Anyway, he and I have become friends. And this just through the podcast. Like, we met him, we told him about our podcast.
Yeah.
And he's been listening, and he comments at almost every single episode.
Yeah.
And says, like, okay, I never put those two and two together. And he's just like, he just feeds back exactly what we're putting into it. But get this is crazy. So Kyle, Coconut Kai, is involved. He's heavily involved in the cultural, the cultural structure
fabric
of the city of Oakland, in the Bay Area,
in California.
And he is he's involved in all of the cool things. There's a place called Children's Fairyland there. It's a small story park. It's something of a theme park, but it was one of the places that Walt Disney benchmarked before Disneyland. He went up to Oakland to go to this place, and Kyle is on the board there. He's part of their horticultural society. Like, he's part of the team that runs an arboretum there in Oakland, and he and his wife, they put their focus on making that city better and elevating the idea of Oakland. Many people would think that Oakland has a bad rap. This guy sees all of the positive in that city and says no to any negative reputation. And so he reached out to me and said, hey, I love this particular, and I'm going to keep this quiet. I'm going to keep this quiet till later.
Yeah.
But he said, I love this particular historical location in Oakland, and I want to see it redeveloped and made into something special. It's fallen into disrepair. I want your help to do it. And listeners, if I haven't mentioned it before or told the whole story, but I work for Storyland Studios. Storyland Studios is a experienced design company. We create destinations that lift the spirit, and
it's an awesome company.
Yeah, and we've designed theme parks and resorts and churches and redevelop places that should be redeveloped. And Kyle came to me and said, "Can you help us do this?" And literally hired me to do this work. And this is somebody that I met while dressed in a Jungle Cruise costume.
With a feather in your cap.
With a feather in my hat at Adventureland Day at Disneyland. And, it's a listener became a client. And it's absolutely astounding to me that the ride we've been on. So
it is amazing because I feel like the backside of water is this giant bug zapper that we didn't realize was going to bring in all these massive people around us that we have the opportunity to be friends and colleagues with now. And that's one of the things that's so awesome about this show. And that's why I get so amped when I tell people to follow your passion, because you're going to meet these people that are going to change your life when you follow your passion. And that, again, I cannot stress this enough, y'all. One of the greatest things to come from this show is the people that we've met. I mean, not only with friends, but with the creative collaborators that we've had throughout the entire storied history on this show. I tell my wife all the time that I'm like, I wonder if people think that I'm a real jerk, because we've had multiple hosts on this show come and go over the years. And I'm like, I wonder if people are like, is Alex really difficult to work with? And I hope I'm not, but
I don't know. I mean,
jury's out on that one. The first host, obviously, Harrison, is still to this day one of my dearest friends. We will text on almost a daily basis. Harry is still a friend of the show. As you guys have heard, sometimes he will pop in just every once in a while. Harry's life is busy. He's got a wife and 2 kids now. And as a result, life just is insane for him. And so that was the reason why he decided to call it a day with full-time backsighting on this. And the wonderful Annie Rugit took up the baton when he decided to move on. And Annie...
fellow Jungle Cruise skipper.
Yep. And Annie is since now married and has 2 kids of her own, which is...
That's so great. Annie Rugit... whenever I think of her last name and how to spell it. and I think that her last name would be the perfect license plate, vanity plate, because you would wonder what in the world
what is it saying
out. I mean, because here's how it's spelled on a license plate. Are you? Why? GT. Are you? Why? G-T.
It is so true.
And then
I've never
it's
thought of it
pronounced
that way.
Rugit. It's pronounced Rugit, but it's
Rugit.
Why?
Rugit.
G-T.
Annie lives up to her quirky last name. I will say that I just texted her this the other day. And we've talked about this on the show before, that Annie and I knew each other from Disney, but we were long before we started podcasting together. We were music collaborators. And Andrea Rugit has the most beautiful voice of any human being I've ever heard sing in my entire life. She is
better than Enya?
Well, okay. Next to Enya, Annie... Next to Enya, next to Bjork, Annie Rugit. Next to Enya, next to Bjork, next to Yoko Ono, Annie Rugit.
Oh my goodness.
Annie Rugit.
Annie is our Yoko.
And no. Wait, no. Did she break up the podcast?
No, she didn't break up the band.
Oh, well, she still has time. She still has time. Annie is just an amazing soul. So Annie and I, we still do a bunch of creative stuff together. But the reality is, she's been busy. She's got 2 kids and a husband, and she does all of her incredible artwork. and she does so much creative stuff. And we're doing creative music stuff again. We just recorded a song together. I don't know if we're going to release it anywhere. I think it might be fun. Maybe we'll let everybody. It's definitely not Disney related, but if you guys are curious on some of the other stuff that we do, you can go back and listen to us sing some songs together in our first Christmas special, which is the Jungle Cruise holiday special, where it's a musical as well. And Annie just goes to it. It shows how Annie has lowered the bar so much to be willing to sing with me, because she is touched in a way that makes Roma Downey look like a firefly. That was a Touched by an Angel reference, by the way. I don't know.
That was, oh my gosh. Okay, Al, while you were saying that, I thought it was Dennis Miller talking. Like,
hey.
What is that reference? Where did that come from?
Always be closing if you want the knife set. I don't know how to speak. Just like, hey, my guy, capiche bada bing. But Roma Downey from
Squab?
Yeah, from Touched by an Angel. Annie's got an angelic voice. And you know who's got just an angelic wit and a skill like I've never seen before when it comes to voice acting? Freddie, that's Mike Mulligan.
Oh, yes. The one and only Mike Mulligan. Such a good friend. And anytime we've had him on here, it's just a thrill. And he's a connector of people.
Yes.
Like, he's connected us with so many cool people.
Oh, my gosh.
And and when we have him on the program and he becomes these different characters, we realize that we are in the presence of greatness.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible because Mike Mulligan is a Swiss Army human being. That he's the kind of guy that you're like, man, I wonder how I do this. And he'd be like, oh, I actually did that for 6 years when I was in Uganda. And it's like, or when I was in New York City building sets for Broadway. And it's like, what are you talking?
What did you do? Or when you originated never mind. I can't even give away the cool things that he's done with his voice acting work.
Yes.
You have heard him in places that our little, backside of water backyard podcast thingy that he comes and does that with us is really an honor.
It's absolutely astounding to hear Mike Mulligan go. Like, when we do our radio dramas, Mike is a staple of our radio dramas, and people don't realize it. Like, people don't realize that Mike Mulligan is like 5 different voices in our shows because he is so versatile with what he does. And it's amazing to see how he just turns it on. Like, it's just instantaneous. He is the quintessential performer. Like, I've never been in the presence of a great actor because it's just not my world until I met Mike Mulligan. And I'm like, this dude is on another level. And he's incredible.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
And, I mean, he's owned escape rooms. He has starred on stage as, the Von Trapp guy and the Music Man.
In the Music Man. Yeah, he's done so many different things. And his set design, y'all just follow him on Instagram and you'll see everything that this guy does is absolutely incredible. I'm telling you, whenever we have a new host on this show, I have to, I don't know how do I say this. I have to kind of not be a fanboy and just be like, I love everything that you do. Everything that you've done is so awesome. Thank you for coming on here. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel worthy. I'm like, I feel like Wayne and Garth, which is another old school reference. And one person that's newer to the crew, but is in no way any less because of it, is somebody here who's, as a result of nepotism, but very, very happily so. I'm very grateful to have this person on our crew, which is Daniel Martin, because Daniel Martin has done things behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of people realize is such a heavy load that this show provides, which is production. Daniel Martin's a production genius. Freddie, how do you know Daniel?
Daniel's my son, and he goes by Harry Fiasco. But he's such an interesting young man with tons of talent. He knows how to put together our episodes. He knows how to put just the right sound effect and blend us all together and make us sound like we rehearsed this. And he's so good at it. And what's tripping me out is that Harrison, as you were introducing each one of the cast, Harrison, he's got 2 kids, and then Annie, she's got 2 kids. We didn't mention it, but Mike's got 2 kids, and you've got 2 kids, and I've got 2 kids, and we just mentioned both of them in this episode for some random reason. But yeah, Daniel, as with Penny, he has my heart, and so when we reached out to him and he said, yeah, I'm available, I can help you edit this stuff. That's what he's trained in. He knows how to do this stuff. And he's taken a load off of our plates when it comes to production of these things. So big applause for Daniel Martin.
Well, and I say the nepotism joke as a joke because Daniel has absolutely earned his place. The guy is a fantastic audio engineer, working with production stuff, with a lot of the full production stuff he's capable of doing. It's absolutely phenomenal. So if you're looking to hire somebody, reach out to Daniel. Reach out to one of us and we can connect you, because I don't remember he's not super active on socials.
He's not super active on that anymore. He's part of his generation some of his generation are shunning the
they're cleansers.
Socials. Yeah, and they're looking for a real world where it's not all about being on the socials. So I love that about him too.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
He's coming home for Christmas, and so is Penny. So I'm thrilled. I'm going to see him in a couple days.
Oh, that's amazing. We'll give him a little pinch on the cheek for Uncle Al.
If I can reach it.
Yeah,
he's so big.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot more notes here, but I feel like we've done what the Backside of Water does all the time, and we've just packed this out, and we aren't.
I digress.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to get to everything. Freddie, I would love for us to just maybe we'll keep the majority of this other stuff that we've got for our final episode, which is sad to say, but I would love for us to talk about what we're looking forward to in the new year, and what we're seeing as we said before we started recording, our vision cast. Is that a term? Something I feel like I've heard an influencer
vision cast.
use.
Yeah. You want to cast a vision for this year, and I think that's a good idea. It's really smart.
Yeah, and so
it's kind of like the thesis.
Yeah, the thesis. So going back to the thesis, I think that it's really important for us to establish that the show has evolved in the same way that our lives have. That, well, as I said at the beginning, in 2015, I had ample amounts of time, and I just wasn't doing anything else. And my kids are 7 and almost 11 now, and I see them like sand sifting through my fingers.
Oh no! Don't get all scared, sad.
But it's important to talk about this too, because I don't want people thinking that we've just like stopped the creative process on this show and been like, "Oh, forget the Backside of Water. It doesn't give me anything anymore." What I see is
it draws us all the time.
Yes, and what I see is my children. I have this, speaking of The Office, like you said earlier, I feel like the Nard dog says it so well in some of the last episodes of The Office when he says, "I wish that you knew that you were in the good old days before they actually passed."
Went away, something, yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing in my own life, that I have this vision to say that by the time my kids are 18, the stat is that you spent 90% of the time you will with them in your entire life.
Yeah,
And I
it's
look
true.
at this and I say, holy mackerel. I've got a 7 and 11-year-old. I need to focus every moment I can on being with them, on spending every time that I can with them. And so because of that, the consistency has suffered, and I apologize, listener, for that. I apologize for the fact that we have not been able to do this consistently, but ask for your forgiveness and your acceptance that we're going to do our best. But as a father who is devoted to being with my kids as much as I can't forsake that for anything else. And the podcast, again, we're committed to this show. We're committed to this show. But I do want to explain why in the last 12 months, it's been sparse, to say the least. It's not out of, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is busy. And I think that with that, it kind of explains why we've had radio silence. It's not that we're done with the show. It's not that we're tired of the show. It's not that we willfully want to neglect our listeners. It's that we see certain things and we're just like, I cannot pass that up. And so in 2026, one thing that we've done is I've started backloading. Episodes where we have them written, and now we just need to get them recorded. And we commit, Freddie, you and I commit right now to the Backside of Water that we will finish the Grand Circle Tour in 2026.
I do
too. That's our plan. That is, and one thing that I would love for us to, again, get some feedback on.
Yeah.
Is, Freddie, you and I have talked multiple times that I'm not a vision caster and I don't see the future. And I did not think about Disney as an ever-changing, ever-growing Disneyodendron when I set out to start this thing so many years ago. And we never thought through the fact that, these attractions are going to change over the years, and your podcast is going to seem crazy dated sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the fact, just like if you think about it, that since you started the podcast, you started in Adventureland.
Uh-huh.
You started on the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise has been redesigned with a whole new story since then. Since you started, it's not the same Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
The the Tarzan's Treehouse is no longer the Tarzan's Treehouse. It's Adventureland Treehouse.
Yep.
And there's an entire land that was once Critter Country that is now Bayou Country. It's an entirely different land with an entirely new anchor attraction.
Yep.
And
that's no longer what it was when we recorded. That attraction is no longer Splash Mountain.
Right. And so many things have happened, and including Frontierland, the river was shortened. We had that great episode with Kevin Blakeney. And a entire new land has been added. And Toontown has changed.
Another e-ticket attraction has been added to Toontown since.
Yeah. So much has occurred. So much has changed in the park that there's great reason for us to continue on to tell those stories again because and update them.
And so that is something that we are actively talking through, is what does it look like to do a refresh on the Backside of Water while still giving you new, fresh content. And so Freddie and I'm going to be totally transparent, listener. We have not come to a solid solution on this. We've got ideas. We've got thoughts. We've got a heart that wants to do it. We just now need to figure out exactly how we're going to set a trajectory, how we're going to set a course for that. And so that's
when I would just want to narrow the point to what you've said.
Mm-hmm.
You said we're going to complete the Grand Circle Tour. And what that means is the thing that Alex set out to do with Harrison early on was we want to tell you the background and stories of all of the Disneyland attractions, one by one, land by land. And so we're finishing up Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is new since we got there. And then now we would be exiting into Main Street, through Main Street, and tell the story of Main Street USA and its attractions.
Yeah.
But once we get to that train station, if you're following along on your map, once we get to that train station, it feels like that is the completion of that Grand Circle Tour.
Yeah.
But there's so much new that has occurred, and that we would love to tell the story of Adventureland again. Mm-hmm. We would love to tell the story of Bayou Country again, and all of that. And so there's so and Toontown, so much to go back to. And we're not sure yet how we're going to do that.
Well, and I think the thing that's hard is we mirror Walt Disney's desire in a lot of ways when it comes to keep moving forward. And that's somewhere, again, I think that this is to be completely transparent and as filled with candor as possible on this. We get asked the question quite often of what's next. Are we going to move on to California Adventure next? And we actually announced a few years ago that the thing that is next for the Backside of Water is going to be us unveiling and uncovering Walt Disney's story around his development of the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, or Epcot, and what that looks like. It was something that was never realized. We're not talking about Epcot Center in Walt Disney World. That's not what Walt envisioned. What we're talking about is something entirely new. And because of that, we have to talk about how the show is going to evolve and change, because it's not an attraction by attraction breakdown of Epcot. And from us, in a spirit of transparency, we want to keep doing this show, but Freddie has so many irons in the fire with Storyland, with family life, with everything. I've got so many irons in the fire with music, with family, with travel, with owning my own business, etc., that we have to evolve this show in order to keep it alive and to keep it going. And because of that, we're probably going to start in the future creating this as more of a serialized show, where we will come out with a chunk of episodes probably once every year or once every 6 months, and it will be the entire story of Epcot. And then we'll go into a period of research, development, recording, production, and then release again. But it's going to be very different than what a lot of regular Disney podcasts do, because our content is not designed to be around the latest snack, the latest trend, the latest lightning lane fiascos,
popcorn buckets.
Yeah, exactly. We're designed to be a timeless show. And we've painted ourselves into a corner with the current episodes because of the evolution of Disneyland. So we're still working that out. But we also, Freddie, do we want to tease the other project that we have in mind as well, and maybe ask for some feedback on it?
Yeah, I would. So when Alex mentioned it before, if you've got ideas for where we could go next with regard to the recapping past lands that have been updated, we'd love to get your feedback on that. So send us a message if you've got an idea. For several years, whenever people would come into town when I lived in Los Angeles, when they would come into town, or I would even put this up for charity auctions, that I would do a tour of Walt Disney's Los Angeles. When we would get in a van and I would tour guide people through Walt Disney's L.A. We would go back to the location of the original Hyperion Street Studios and Walt's first home that he lived in, and where their first studios and their Walt's homes. Go and see the studios, both Imagineering and the Walt Disney Animation Studios, a movie studio lot. And also go to Walt's barn and ride the carousel at Griffith Park, and go to the Tam O'Shanter, and even visit Walt's grave. And it's just a great experience. And that is something that I miss doing, and I'd love to do it with listeners, but in a couple different ways. I think it would be great if Alex and I, once or twice a year, we're in LA together and we did a tour of Walt's Los Angeles together with listeners. But even better than that, or really cool, is we'd like to create an audio tour of that, and something that you could download, you could get in your car and with a bunch of friends and listen to the stories and the places that inspired Walt Disney, and you can follow in his footsteps throughout Glendale and Echo Park and Burbank, and his story, his Hollywood story, comes to life in right in view, right where you're at. It's pretty spectacular. So we'd love to do that. And so please tell us if you're interested.
Yeah,
in that.
if that's something that you would love to get your hands on, we would love to provide it. And we think that there's our hearts tell us that there are people out there who would love something like that. But I think that it's also very fitting that we kind of model a lot of the things that we enjoy about Walt Disney. And one of those things is, like we said, keep moving forward, always innovating. And so we are going to be creating, and yeah, that will be podcast content, but it will also be to that and beyond. To infinity and beyond is our goal when it comes to our creative desires. But we're not going to forsake that in the meantime. We're going to, again, our here and now, our commitment to 2026 is that we are going to be, again, covering Main Street. And we're going to start to kind of see this as we wrap this podcast up, this podcast episode, we're going to talk about how we see this covering of Main Street as our final lap. We are going to be a little self-indulgent with these next episodes once we get out of Galaxy's Edge, and we're going to take our time walking down Main Street. Freddie, you before we started recording, you brought up this great visual and this great metaphor for how we're kind of approaching this when it comes to walking down Main Street, and I'd love for you to share that thought and that idea.
Well, when you come to Disneyland, you enter on Main Street. It's the first picture. It's where the immersion starts. It's where you leave today and enter world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. And that is such a wonderful start. It's a cinematic start. It also represents Walt's start, which is so spectacular. But it's also the place we exit through. When we're leaving the park, we leave through Main Street. And for anybody who has stayed late and headed down that Main Street in the dark with all the sparkling lights, you turn around, you look at the castle one more time, you head out the tunnels towards the exit, and you feel that emotion filling you up. Like, oh, there's regrets of things I didn't do, but there's memories that we built, and you can't believe that your body has to go and sleep now when this place has been so magical to us. And I feel like that is the path of this final land that we're going to cover in Main Street is this walking out, stopping, taking in all the details. Now that they have the new Great Moments with Walt Disney animatronic, like that we're really going to get to the heart of Walt Disney's vision for Disneyland. But it's going to be bittersweet. It's going to be that sad sweetness that you always feel when you leave Disneyland, and I'm so excited for it. It's going to be really, really wonderful.
I think that sums it up so perfectly. That's going to be the goal for these next episodes. So if you're nostalgic for Disneyland, if you've got a nostalgia, if you've been with us from the very beginning of the Backside of Water, you've got a nostalgia for this show. These next episodes are going to be the stuff that hopefully hits you right in the heart. And with that,
right in the feels,
right in the feel heart, which I think is a young adult fiction novel, Feel Heart.
Oh my gosh!
If it's not, I'm going to write it right now. Note to self: in 2027, write Feel Heart. One of the things that I don't want to guarantee this. I don't want to promise this. But we're in the works with some former hosts coming back for the final lap. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get people's hopes up too high if this doesn't work out. But you are going to at least have Freddie and I, at the very least. But we might have some other
special guests along the way.
Yes.
For sure.
And so with that, we are so thankful again that you've made it through this episode. We're also so thankful for you, listener, for you, friend, for everybody who has made the Backside of Water community as amazing as possible. For all of the incredible opportunities we've had, for all of the grace that you guys have given us in some of our missteps, in some of our faltering, in some of our best of intentions that kind of went haywire.
Get off your knees, Al. They like us. It's okay.
But at the same time, I also say this with understanding that I have this feeling that, and there is so much truth to this. There is nothing more valuable than time. There's nothing more valuable than time. And that's what you, listener, have given us. And that's something that I really never want to lose sight of, is the fact that you, as the listener, have given us your most valuable possession. That you have entrusted us with that most valuable of possessions. And I will never, and Freddie will never, ever take that lightly, and will never take that in such a way where we lessen the impact that you give us something that can never be returned. And that's an incredible and impactful gift that you've provided us. And truthfully, in this episode where we're talking about all the gifts that we're thankful for from this podcast, that's the one that we are the most thankful for. And with that, Freddie, do you have any last thoughts?
I feel so humbled. Bye. I'm sorry.
See you later.
I can't keep my emotion up, but I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much for a great year, Al. It's been fun hanging out with you. I wish we did it more, and that's why we're planning to do a ton of episodes in 2026. Folks, we cannot thank you enough for coming along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And with that, y'all, if you liked what you heard on this episode of the show, please be sure to give us a follow, as we've said multiple times, on Instagram. You can find us by searching The Backside of Water. On Facebook, you can find us by searching The Backside of Water. Those are the two biggest places. You can listen to us on all of your podcast sites available. We would love some reviews over on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. If you can drop us a review, we would love that. Freddie, how can people follow you personally? Are you doing, or what are you doing?
Yeah, you can follow me at Skipper Freddie on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter's just a repeat of my Instagram. You can check me out on freddiemartin.net. Some of my articles are up there, and I'm hoping to also in 2026 refill my website with some of the old content and get some new stuff in there. It's kind of a treat for me to be able to write and tell different stories than we do on here. So I hope you'll check it out.
You're also a host of another podcast, Freddie. What's that podcast?
That's right.
called?
I'm on my other podcast is Themed Attraction Podcast. I co-host that with Mel McGowan, who's the Chief Creative Officer at Storyland Studios. And we talk with the luminaries in the themed entertainment industry. Those are the people who designed all your favorite theme parks around the world. So it's a really, really cool podcast to listen to and listen to the greats, the masters of the craft in theme park design.
If you're a meat and potatoes kind of person, y'all, that's what you get out of that podcast. It is dense. It is thick. It is nutritious. Like everything that you get out of it. If you're a creative person, and this is, I'm going to tell you, it's a deep, like inside baseball podcast, and that's what's so fantastic about it. If you're a creative person, if you run a business, if you are interested in entrepreneurship, if you are interested in creative work in general, that show is for you. Because it's thick and dense, like this Grogu eggnog that we've just finished up. I can't believe there was only 4 ounces in that cup, and it took us this long to finish it.
Yeah, it's like an Italian coffee.
It's like a matzo ball soup that I need to try. So again, listen to Themed Attraction, because every time I listen to that show, I just feel like I'm filled up. I'm just so full of awesome new inspiration. So with that, y'all, have a great year. Have a great holiday season. Thanks for letting us do something new on this episode, because we usually do a radio drama, and we're doing something new this year. So with that, Freddie, as you exit, please watch your head and watch your step.
And if you miss your step or hit your head, watch your language. This is a family podcast.
We'll see you next year, y'all.